Tim McCarver Show is brought to you by the men and women of General Motors. Together, let's keep America rolling.
Today's guest graduated from North Brunswick High School in New Jersey in 1997, having starred in soccer, baseball, and basketball. He was a backup goalie on the United States soccer team in the 2000 Olympics, and in 1999, at age 19, became the youngest goalie in Major League Soccer when he joined the New York, New Jersey-based Metro Stars. This year, at the age of 20, he finally was promoted to starting goalie and made such an impact that he was selected to the All-Star team. Now he's being touted as America's World Cup goalie of the future. And believe me, there's so much more to his story. I welcome Tim Howard. Timmy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
I had no idea you played baseball in high school, along with your you can dunk a basketball, right?
Yeah.
And that was I guess your second sport?
Yeah.
But your favorite sport, other than soccer, was baseball.
Yeah, I enjoy baseball. I think it takes tremendous skill to do, what has to be done on the baseball diamond. So I worked hard at it, but I apparently excelled at soccer a bit more.
What position did you play in baseball?
Middle infield, shortstop, second base.
And a diehard Met fan growing up?
I was.
Oh, you were?
Sorry to say for New York fans, I'm now an Atlanta Brave fan.
Why is that?
Well, coming up, the Braves were always on TBS and TNT, and there was a game every night, and the Mets were on Sports Channel, and I just didn't get it. I didn't get Sports Channel, so I watched a bit more Braves baseball than I did Mets, and that's where I am now.
So now you're pulling for Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones,
Absolutely.
and you started soccer at a very, very young age, right? How old are you, 5 or 6 years old?
6, yeah. I got put into soccer basically just to get out of the house and get some of my hyperactivity out of my system, and God blessed me with talent that I didn't think I had, and now here I am.
We're going to talk about some of that hyperactivity because you were diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome when you were 11 years old, right? We're going to talk about that a little later and how difficult it may have been growing up with that, but you just announced that this year, right?
Yeah, I felt it was time for me to come forward with it, and I struggled with it a lot, and I thought that being a professional athlete, I could come out and be in a spotlight and show other kids, most importantly to me, that they could achieve their goals if they worked hard enough, and that TS wasn't really an excuse.
Jim Eisenreich is a friend of mine and has been for a long time. He played for the Minnesota Twins. The Philadelphia Phillies. Have you talked to any other professional athletes that perhaps have your malady?
No, I know of Jim because that was obviously somebody coming up that I idolized, and most important to me was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, obviously formerly Chris Jackson, who played for the Denver Nuggets and now plays for the Vancouver Grizzlies. And I saw his story on TV, and I likened it to mine so much. And once I saw that, I was able to see that I could accomplish the things I wanted to accomplish, even to the heights of being a professional athlete.
Have you talked to Chris or Jim or?
I haven't, but I want to so bad, and that's still a dream of mine. Even though I'm a professional athlete, and now here I am, 22 years old, it's still a dream of mine to meet those guys and talk with them a little bit.
Did you think about, as far as your future was concerned, once you graduated from high school, did you think about going to college? Did you think about perhaps not turning pro right away? What made you decide to turn pro at such a young age of 18?
Yeah, I had talked to some people within the organization here in New York and also with the MLS, and they felt that it was the best. I felt that it was the best decision for me, considering I'd be able to play close to home and be in a very good situation. This organization is great.
Do you live at home?
No, I live on my own.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Did you live at home at any time that you?
Yeah, my first 2 years, I lived at home with my mom and my brother, and that was good for me because I was able to grow up a little bit and mature and come into my own without having all the pressures of being out there in the real world.
Your mom Esther really raised you and your brother, right?
Yeah. She did a tremendous job. I mean, her job is harder than any job I'll ever have. She did work 2 jobs, putting my brother and myself through school, and she's a wonderful woman.
You attended North Brunswick High School. Did they have football, basketball, baseball, and soccer teams?
Yeah.
But you were primarily trained when you were so young. Can you, in looking back to such a tender age, did you Did you realize when you were young that you were different, that you were a better player than most of the kids around you?
I think so. I excelled at sports, but more than that, I had a passion for all sports at such a young age, which I thought was a bit different. You know, any sport I could play, or any bat, hockey stick, anything I get my hands on, I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it to the best of my ability. So I knew that there was a passion and a competitiveness that not too many kids my age had.
I think some of that passion is going to be, pardon me, is going to come through with some of the clips that we have of Tim Howard and the Metro Stars. He was an all-star this year, and I'm delighted to have him as my guest, and we'll be back with more from Tim right after this. I'm back with Tim Howard, who says, athletics has been my sanctuary. I'm fortunate to be a good athlete. And what an athlete Tim Howard is. He was named the MVP of the Metro Stars, and also for your humanitarian efforts, named the Humanitarian of the Year in the Major League Soccer League. That's pretty high praise.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I started out, helping children with Tourette syndrome. Just because they were close to my heart, and I wanted to do everything I can to make their life a little bit easier. And you never expect these type of awards to be won because of that, but it is a tremendous honor to have that.
Along with this humanitarian award comes a charitable contribution too, right, Tim?
Yeah, and I'm going to give that to the Tourette Syndrome Association of New Jersey. They're a nonprofit organization that really is a grassroots effort. They help families with outreach programs and medical issues, so they're wonderful.
I would imagine that knowing firsthand how Tourette syndrome affects you at the age of 11, what was it like growing up? It was diagnosed at age 11, is that right?
Yeah, it was tough growing up. I mean, it's hard enough being a kid or a teenager, especially in those years when you're coming into your own. But to have this disorder was tough because kids don't understand, and although they mean well, sometimes they could be a little harsh in their comments or when they poke fun. So it's difficult coming up, but fortunately I had the support of some really good friends and a wonderful family.
The things that I would imagine that balanced things out for you perhaps was your athleticism.
Yeah.
That was the equalizer.
Yeah, I say it's my sanctuary, the athletic field, because when I'm on the athletic field, or more specifically the soccer field, no one can judge me for anything that's going on with me physically. It's about how I perform and how I help my team win, and to me that's just amazing. Even if it's for 90 minutes, that's so important to me. There
are an awful lot of athletes that pay lip service, and I'm not saying that is bad, but you really take an active part. As a matter of fact, we have some footage of you with the Tourette Syndrome Society at the Meadowlands, speaking to them and empathetically. That was quite a thing. There were about 200 kids there with Tourette syndrome.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important for me to reach out to the kids and not just to be a face on TV or in the paper, because that's all good and well, but they need to know me on a personal level, because that's my goal in life is to help raise awareness for Tourette syndrome. I use soccer as my stage to do that, but it's truly my goal is to get the word out and to help kids and families who suffer with this, because life is bigger than soccer. It truly is.
That is an awfully. Now you're 22 years old. Yeah. You talk like you're 40. I mean, you do, and I would imagine you grow up in a hurry when you've had a malady such as yours. But it also makes you so sensitive to everything around you, I would think.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you grow up fast being a pro athlete. I mean, they always say that, but to be a pro athlete with this disorder, I found out about myself very quickly, and really what I was made of, because I went through some tough times. Coming up as a young pro, being 18, dealing with what it's like to be a first-year pro at 18. It's just very tough.
Did you play what the Major League Soccer League would consider a minor league of sorts. I know you were a backup goalie on the Olympic team. I guess that served as your minor leagues. Is that right?
Once I signed with the Metro Stars, I was on the first team. I was a reserve keeper on the first team. And yeah, basically just thrust into the frying pan, and it was time to show what I could do. And I made a few mistakes along the way, and I'll continue to make mistakes, but I'm learning from them each and every day. So.
Has he ever shown what he can do? Tim Howard, the goalie for the Metro Stars, and I'll be back to talk more with Tim right after this. I am back with Tim Howard, the fine, and I mean fine, 22-year-old goalie with the Metro Stars that have New York and New Jersey as their base. They play at the Meadowlands. You're averaging about 20,000 people a game. But at the Meadowlands, that holds 80,000 for a Giants game. I guess it appears to be small crowds when, in effect, in the 6th year of existence, they aren't small crowds.
Yeah, it's a very good crowd. Unfortunately, I think, as opposed to any other sport, soccer fans are very passionate. They come to the game and they get wild, and it's not, they don't come in suits. That's for sure. It's been good. We're second in the league, I think, in attendance. But yeah, it would be great to get our own soccer-specific stadium so that you would feel the atmosphere a little bit more. Because in Giant Stadium, you get a bit lost.
And yet, in the Olympics in 2000 in Sydney, you played in a stadium that was actually a cricket center that held 130,000 people, you were telling me?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was just so humongous. I mean, the fans are literally almost 50 yards away because it's so big, It's just amazing, and they fill those places for cricket and things like that. I can't imagine.
People in this country can't imagine. I mean, that's bigger than the Ohio State football stadium. Yeah. 130,000 people watching cricket.
Sure, it's interesting because it differs from those type of football stadiums that pan out. I mean, this stadium went straight up, almost like the Coliseum in Rome. I liken it to just straight up, doesn't pan out like the Rose Bowl, just. So they're on top of you.
And you met a young lady over there who was very impressed with your soccer, Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah. Right? I met her. I was watching the U.S. women's team take on China, and she happened to be there, and just had a little chit chat with her. There's a few Secret Service people around, so I had to be careful. But yeah, it was nice meeting her.
You saw a lot of guys with these in their ears, right?
Yeah.
Soccer has really given you a traveling experience like very few people of your age have had.
Yeah, I've been to 23 different countries.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, stretching over, Africa, Europe. I haven't been to the Far East, but I've been Australia, South America, Central America, you name it.
You have trained with the AC Milan, also, which is from what you've told me, as popular worldwide as the Manchester United team that a couple of years ago went for $1 billion.
Yeah,
is that right? I mean,
we don't necessarily see the impact that soccer has on the rest of the world, but it truly is the world's game. I mean, the money that goes on or that changes hands in Europe is significant. It's likened to the NBA. I mean, it's amazing, and AC Milan is by far the top organization club in all of the world.
What time of the year did you train with them?
I trained in our off season, which was like October through December. So yeah, it was a bit chilly over there, but it was great training weather.
And during the training season, was it a combination of weightlifting, cardiovascular, stretching?
Yeah, the Europeans have a different take on athletics a little bit. They don't weight train as much. It was a lot of cardiovascular and a lot of repetitions, playing with the ball and playing small-sided games. So yeah, not too much weight training going on.
Soccer players have always amazed me because you can do with your feet what people are trained with their hands in this country do. A basketball player, even though you were trained with both, right?
Right.
But in Europe, it's true that most of them are trained with their feet instead of their hands. Right?
Yeah, that's the amazing thing that I always tell people about soccer. I mean, you can take, you can take a football or a baseball and 50 yards down the field say, okay, throw it into a little grid, that you may map out on the field, which is pretty easy. But if you do it with your feet, it's nearly impossible unless you've trained at it. And I think if you really watch the game, you can understand how amazing it is.
We have a lot of footage of Tim and his performances this year, and I noticed that you are equally adept at kicking with your right foot or your left foot.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, right there. Now, check this out. Looks like it's the same.
Yeah, I work on it. I've been blessed with some athletic skill that allows me to have good hand-eye coordination, but at the same time, I work on it every day, continuing to improve my left foot. My right foot's pretty good, but, the left foot is obviously not my strong foot, so I work every day.
Around your apartment, I would imagine it's, basketball players, when, thinking of my childhood and playing baseball all the time, but basketball players dribbling to the hoops. And what was it like in your growing up? I mean, with your feet and kicking soccer balls all the time?
Yeah.
Really?
I got in trouble a lot. My mom wasn't too happy with me. I mean, it was every day that she was telling me to put the ball away and stop kicking it at the wall. Yeah, and just dribbling all around the house. She got pretty fed up. So.
Oh, that's just some great stuff. Tim Howard, I have not seen you play, but I'm going to.
Good.
We'll be back to talk more with Tim Howard right after this. Back with Tim Howard, the fine goalie of the Metro Stars Major League Soccer League, and you guys are in your playoffs right now. How many players do you have on your roster?
We carry 22, and you can travel with and suit up 16.
Mm-hmm. That's you're traveling, and 12 teams in three divisions. 3 divisions, right? Yeah. And the next time that you expand, and the only reason I say this is from personal. Knowledge of St. Louis being such a hotbed of soccer. A lot of you folks may not realize that St. Louis, Missouri, is feverish about their soccer. You knew that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you played there?
I haven't played there, but I know of 100 players that have played there, and many teams that have went, and they just love the experience. It's a great town.
I'm really surprised that St. Louis was not a member of the Major League Soccer League.
Yeah, they have one in Kansas City. So
is that
right?
The soccer tried in this country and yet failed. When Pelé played for the Cosmos from 1971 through 1984, that was a U.S. Soccer League, right?
Yes, NASL, North American Soccer League.
North American Soccer League. And Pelé really, I mean, it was a very wealthy team, the New York team. Yeah. They could afford a lot of, I think they had Pepsi money involved in that. But there was no balance in competition in the rest of the teams, is my understanding.
Yeah, that's the way it worked. I mean, the players that played in New York loved it, and financially, and the other teams weren't as well off. And when you monopolize like that, it's not a good thing. And financially, the league couldn't handle it because New York did supply a lot of the financial power.
Do you have a salary cap?
We do, and unfortunately, I don't know what that is. But we do.
That's all right.
Yeah, we
do
have a salary.
The average salary is about what?
I would say about 50,000, 75,000.
And you play a schedule of what, 36, 40 games, something like that?
Regular season is between 28 and 32, depending on the season, and the playoffs, however far you go, international matches. I mean, you could play upwards 50, 60 matches a year.
You talked about the countries that you visited, but the part of the world that you really want to go to is the Far East, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your opportunity next year.
Yeah, the World Cup in 2002 will be there in Korea and Japan, and if God willing, I'll be there. I mean,
why Korea and Japan? Is this unusual that it's held in 2 different places?
Sometimes, more often than not, it's held in one place, but they're going to have a dual sponsorship, and I think it'll work out great. They have great, wonderful venues, huge venues there for 100,000 seats, and I think they'll do very well.
those of you who are Michael Jordan fans out there, I want you to watch the following footage and just ask yourself, I wonder if Michael Jordan could do this. Check this out. And the save to Tim Howard. You remember that play?
Oh yeah, I remember it.
I bet you've seen it before too.
Uh-huh.
When was that this year?
That was this year, yeah, in Miami.
That's a phenomenal athletic feat.
Thank you.
Anticipation is primary as a goalie.
Yeah, as a
obviously athletic skill.
Yeah.
You're taller than most goalies. You're 6'2", right?
6'3", yeah.
6'3".
I think as a goalkeeper, you're not always gonna make the routine save every time. You just try and get yourself in a good position, be as big as possible, and be courageous. Because you're talking about 6 to 8 yards away, guys are hitting balls that are 70 miles an hour, and you really just have to, give your body up and let it hit you where it will. And sometimes a lot of times it's lucky, but you're helping yourself be lucky by putting yourself in a good position.
Are there any traits that you're looking for when players are descending on the goal? I'm sure that they are many different traits.
Yeah.
Can you read body language?
All the time. I mean, that's the biggest key for a goalkeeper. I mean, it becomes second nature. So when I say you're reading a person's body language, they're dribbling at you, at a very fast pace. It's second nature. You've seen it so many times.
Or passing. Or passing. Have you talked to hockey goalies about things like that? Is it similar in that regard?
I would think it's similar. A smaller goal.
Smaller goal
Smaller
in hockey.
puck.
Right. Smaller puck.
But I think it's the movement, and I always say in goalkeeping, you want to be set or stationary before the ball is struck. You don't want to be moving. And I think it's the same way in hockey. You want to get to your position where you feel it's best, and then rely on your instincts. You don't want to be moving.
The reason I would imagine that you don't want to be moving is that they're going to fire it to the empty.
Put it back the other way.
Tim, I hope you come back. Would you do that?
I would love to.
I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Tim Howard, the goalie of the Metro Stars, has been my guest. Thanks for watching. See you next time.